Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. So welcome to, I don't know what to call this series, but there's now a different segment in my channel where I speak all things faith. It's one of the things that I've decided that I want to speak about. It feels good to speak about. I always speak about them outside my channel, so might have decided that it's time I brought it here. Anyways, one thing I know of is that for every different season, whichever one that you are in, one of the ways in which you could affect your progress or affect your life is if you are anxious, if you do not trust yourself, if you do not trust God for your life. So one of the ways that I would, like sitting here actually looks nice. The city looks nice from here, hey? Never sit here. Sorry, I digress. Anyways, I was saying that at different areas, one thing that you need to take with you is that do not be anxious about anything. In everything, trust God. Philippians 4 verse 7 says that do not be anxious or worried about anything, but in everything, every circumstance or situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, continue to make your specific requests known to God. One of the ways in which this year has been for me, I wanted so many things for myself, and I'm seeing so many prayers being answered. But this only happens if I stop being anxious about the thing happening. I just continue giving grace. I continue telling God that this is my request. My request right now is to pass these exams. I never want to write them again. My request right now is to get this job because I don't want to work with my family. Like, I don't want to work with my uncle anymore. This right now, my prayer is that I want to move out of home. I want to have my own place. All of these things are answered when I stop being anxious, but just continue giving thanks and continue making my prayers and requests known to God. Those are ways that I've been, and I think for every season that you go to, for every area of your life that you continue to go after, just don't be anxious. I'm not saying don't be, because you all know me, I'm anxious, I suffer with it. Was even clinically diagnosed with anxiety. So it's one of the things that you can't avoid, but it's one of the best ways to see life unfolding. And I can testify that if ever I stop being anxious about something, I get it. Whenever I feel anxious about it, I always know that something is off, and it's going to be off. Unless I put my trust, even surrender. I think the right way is to surrender things to God, and everything will be given unto you at the right time, because there's a right time and a right season for everything. That's why I'm speaking about seasons in our life. So yeah, the next thing, in your prayers and in everything that you do, trust and lean on God. Proverbs 4, is it Proverbs or Proverbs 3 verse 5? Let me go to it. It says, trust and rely confidently on the Lord with all your heart, and do not rely on your own insight or your own understanding. If we rely on our own insight and own understanding, we usually get it wrong. Mina, in May, I think it was May or June, I can't remember, but I had this conviction of Uti. By September, I'll be moving out of home. End of September, I even wrote it down on my journal that end of September, I'll have my own place. I'll be living in my own space in Potchefstroom. Even started speaking with people that were given that you look for agents or whatever you call them. Are they called agents? Whatever you call them in Potchefstroom, this is where I want to live. And I said that. So in my mind was like, I'm not going to be moving out of Potchefstroom. Might as well move closer to it instead of home. But I knew what I know and what I trust God for and what my life direction is that I'm moving out of home. So in my own understanding, it was basically Potchefstroom. And I was still going to continue working where I was working, but just not living at home. Fast forward, end of July. Was it end of July? I can't remember, but end of July, get a job interview in Durban. Second interview, because there are 2 interview stages and then basically 3 recruitment stages. Then there was the third one. Now I was like, okay, flip, I'm moving out of South Coast. I'm actually moving to Durban. So if in my own understanding, it was like, okay, you're moving to Potchefstroom, so plan for it. But if I relied on God and say, okay, God, what's next? Because I was starting to get anxious again. How will I actually make it happen and move out? Because I knew that I want to move out, and I knew it was time for me to move out. But I also knew that I was not earning enough to actually move out and live comfortably. God provided. I moved out. I live comfortably in my own space. Yes, it's still empty. It's still empty, but it's beautiful. I love it. It's mine. One of the things that are mine. These are one of the verses that I woke up with on the day of getting my results, which I spoke about in my previous video. Philippians 1, verse 6. It says, I am convinced and confident of this very thing, that he who has begun a good work in you will continue to perfect and complete it until the day of Christ Jesus, the time of his return. Whatever it is that we want, whatever it is that we admire for ourselves, one thing we should always be assured of, one thing that we should always know and trust God for is that and this is what I've understood in the different seasons, is that in order for me to see the work come into completion, I have to trust. Some call it gut, some call it instinct, some call it the universe. I call it God, I call it God of my ancestors, I call it Holy Spirit, I call it everything that I can think of that when I call upon it guides me. And Psalm 32 verse 8 says that I will instruct you and I will teach you the way you should go. I will counsel you those who are willing to learn with my eye upon you. If you are going to listen to God and you are willing to listen to God, he will counsel you. He will teach you the way you should go. Trust me. If you listen to your gut or whatever it is, the higher power, the higher spirit above you that you trust in, and you listen to it, believe me, it's going to direct you in the way that you should go. It's going to give you the directions. You need to discern. One thing that you need for the many seasons of your life is having an ability to discern things that are happening, having an ability to discern and differentiate from this is a blessing from God and this is a warning from God. You have to be able to do all of those things, and it's nice to see yourself do that. And one last thing is that who you are as a student. Like when studying as a student, it's a different need for ukufunda. If you were able to wake up and go right without studying and pass, probably when you are now a student and employed at the same time, you're going to need a different method, mhlambe, because of the strain in your brain, your body, all of those things. So understanding that you need different things and different versions of yourself for different seasons of your life is one of the most important things that you need to understand and accept with this thing called life, because there are different seasons of life. What is it called? I don't know how to say this word in English. Particular Bible verse is Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 3 verse, the whole chapter of chapter 3, it says that there is a time for everything. There is a season, a time appointed for everything, and a time for every delight and event or purpose under heaven. Under heaven means under earth. It depends on the version that you are. There's a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot what has been planted, a time to heal and a time to kill, a time to tear down and a time to build up. Once you understand, Guti, there is a time for everything. Once you understand, Guti, there's a time to bloom. Maybe you are in a season where your life is just in shambles. Like I was in I still sometimes feel that I'm in a perpetual series of times that are like, okay, I'm being tested by everything that is in me. But there is a time for Uguti. Even in those times of Uguti, I'm broke, but there's a time of being happy. Like I always get that time, a time to plant, a time to build. During your time as a student, articles, first income job, it's a time for building your career. If you mess it up at that time, you're not going to get to the season of reaping what you've sown throughout the years. So I hope, even for myself, that I understand Witty, its different seasons. Like right now, I'm just starting my career. I'm just figuring out what is next for me as soon as I get admitted. What is next after admission? What is next after am I being an associate? Am I being what? Am I going to practice? If I don't understand what those are seasons, like right now it's a season before, it's an uncertain season. I always say this to myself, it's an uncertain season because I'm not admitted, but I'm also not basically a candidate attorney, but I'm not in practice. So what am I? It's one of those times where I'm like, okay, I don't know what is happening, but what I know is that at this season, this is a time maybe for me to get as many admissions as, not as many, there's only 3. If there's more, I don't know of them. Conveyancing attorney, notary attorney, maybe this is a time where I go for those things for my future. I don't know. Maybe this is a time where I go for the postgrad and prepare for my future. Whatever it is, the moment you understand the different seasons, the moment you understand Uguti, the different seasons require different things. Like when it's planting, you need to be able to say, I'm going to dig, I'm going to study, I'm going to push, I'm going to get this degree, I'm going to get these boards, I'm going to get all that I can get while learning as a candidate attorney in practice. I'm going to take as much as I can. And if you don't, you're going to come out blank. I came out knowing Uguti. I went in there, said to myself, I'm going to be teachable. I'm going to learn. And I did that. I still get very proud of myself. Because even now, people at work that some were even in practice longer than me, like, how long were you in practice? I'm like, I only did articles. But then they're always like in awe of how much I know. It's because I wanted to do everything and anything that I could put my hands into. I'd start something, want feedback, even if it's things that need ukuthi ube usune experience. I want to try them out. And it's good that I did that, because I got everything. Not everything, because obviously there are certain areas that you're like, I've never done this in practice. But I've done everything that I needed in the particular practice that I was in for me to be prepared for the next season of my life, which right now is being in legal insurance and giving as much legal advice as I'm able to give, writing as much as I'm able to give, using what I was using in the different season of my life. And here right now, I'm learning as much as I can for the next season. For each season, always be able to say I'm taking notes for the next season. Anyways, I've spoken too much. My throat hurts because this is not the first video I'm shooting right now. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you on my next video, and yeah, bye.